Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Address-Based Layout Randomization. My name is John Strand, and I'm joined by Ryan, who's making us
Hello.
just look good all of the time. Hello, Captain Crouch and Ed Meyer. Thank you very much for coming and hanging out. Super excited to be back in the saddle. It's been a while since I've actually done one of these, but Ryan, I'm on deck for one this week, and I'm doing one next week as well. So pretty excited to be doing these. And I think one of the biggest reasons why I'm excited to doing this one is I'm adding a brand new lab to my classes. And I'll talk more about that after we get done with the walkthrough because we want to get straight to the tech as quickly as we can. So I'm going to share out my ADHD virtual machine. Ryan, can you confirm that everyone can see that? Are we good?
We see your screen.
Awesome. All right. So what we're going to do is we're just going to run through a quick lab that I generated about 4 or 5 o'clock this morning. That I'm going to add into my cyber deception class. Now it's kind of weird. I have a class coming up here in a couple of weeks that's Intro to Security, which uses the exact same VM. But I was just feeling cyber deception this morning. So if you've downloaded the VM, which is freely available, and at the end I will share a link. And by the way, if you're on chat in Google or you're on Twitch or you're in Discord, feel free to share a link to people if you know the virtual machine. It's at Antisyphon Training's website. It has a link and full instructions on how to get this VM up and running for you. So let's go ahead and get started. As it is with most of my labs, it starts by clicking on Labs right here. We have this wonderful little icon that has a awesome name called Labs. Now we have all of our labs for Intro to SOC, Intro to Security. Intro to Security is what I'm teaching next week. And I'm going to be adding in some additional labs. I think next week I'll release another lab for Intro to Security just to make that better. But for cyber deception and active defense, we have a lot of really cool labs already, but I added a new one in for file audit. And I wanted to take a few moments and talk about why file auditing is in fact so important. If you're talking about cyber deception, we have some labs in this class that deal with people creating Canary tokens. So I can create a Canary token and I can go to the Canary tokens website and generate a token automatically, where I can be like, well, you know what? I want a word web bug token, right? And I can fill in all the information for that word web bug token to make it do word web bug token things. Mainly having the ability of actually calling back to our Canary token server. That's pretty cool. We also have a lab in this particular section that deals with creating shares in an environment using Impacket, where if somebody attempts to access the share that we have created with Impacket, it will automatically capture the password hash, the username, the system's name, the IP address, date, time information, and that is pretty cool as well. However, what we're missing is how can you put on really super basic auditing, creating very basic traps for attackers or pen testers breaking into your environment that's incredibly lightweight, as in no external service like Impacket, no external service like Canary token running, something you can set up easy peasy to get running in your environment to actually start messing with attackers' lives and making them rethink their life choices. Well, turns out that file auditing on a Windows computer system is something that fits the bill. It's also really simple to do. Now, there are actually a couple of caveats and pitfalls to actually doing this, and I'm going to talk more about that as we actually work through this particular lab. As always, all of my labs are completely open source. Anyone can access those labs, and all you have to do is just go to GitHub, GitHub Strand.js, like so, and just go into intro labs, and all of my labs are available there for anyone to be able to play with. If you in fact go to intro labs and then do index MD, the navigation MD, it takes you to all the labs that exist. Anyone can run through this. It's perfectly fine. All the stuff's for free and it's all available, because why would I be running around trying to protect my intellectual property? That would be insane, correct? So what we want to do is we want to create a file, right? We're going to create a folder. We're going to create a file. And we want to set up something in the event logs on a Windows system that if anybody accesses that file, it's going to generate event logs, quite a few event logs, unfortunately. It's going to generate quite a few event logs off of that particular system, and it's going to let you know that somebody has touched that file. Now, why exactly? I don't normally use Bing. Brian just brought up, he's like, I was hoping it wasn't normal. I'm just using the browser that was actually open on my system, and it just so happened it's Bing as the browser. When I update this VM, I'm going to have to kill Bing because it's weird. It's very uncomfortable. I don't know. It's like that crazy uncle at the Thanksgiving dinner that's always talking about politics or the royal family. It's not even British. It's weird. So we're going to create this file, and we're going to set this particular file up so if anyone interacts with it, it's automatically going to trigger an event log. And we'll talk about the use case and how an attacker will actually fall into it. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to create the folder and we're going to create the file first. And all these instructions are available on the Intro Labs and GitHub. So I'm going to right click and I'm going to create a new folder, right? And I'm going to call this new folder secret. Secret, secret, I've got a secret. So we're going to go into the secret folder and then we're going to create a new text document. I'm just going to create a text document to start. And we're going to call it Mr. Roboto. Domo arigato, Mr. Roboto. All right. Now, if anyone ever accesses this file, there's nothing in it. Like, nothing. But I could put in things like passwords and SSN and like top secret. And we can do, let's do top secret, SCI. Let's give it some talent keyhole. I don't know. You guys have any other ones that we want to do? We got TS, SCI, TK. We could do Byman, if anybody is down with the Byman. But we can put all this stuff in this file and we can save it. Now, we have this particular file in this particular folder with the name Mr. Roboto and all those things. Secret family recipes would be fine in that as well. But how in the hell would an attacker actually find this, right? Well, it turns out Mr. Roboto is probably a really bad name. A better name for this would be to rename it to passwords. Like that. Now, the reason why we would call it passwords is a lot of attackers post-exploitation and pen testers too. They will automatically search through all the files and folders and directories that are accessible by the user they compromised for certain keywords, right? So there's tools like File Finder and Share Finder that specifically has a dirty word list, dirty word, and it'll go through and try to find any files that either are named those dirty words or have those dirty words in the files. So you're not expecting the attacker to actually go through and scroll through looking for anything called passwords. That's not something that they're going to do. They're going to run a script that's automatically going to go through and identify any files with the name passwords, or any files that if they open up that file, you're going to see, top secret SCI TK, right? Or passwords or SSN or whatever. But as it stands right now, somebody can access this particular file all day long, and there's no alerting for this whatsoever. So what we want to do is we want to actually enable alerting. So whenever somebody accesses this file, it's going to generate an event log that we can actually throw to our SIM and then generate an alert on our SIM. So we're going to go to our local security policy on our Windows computer system. Once we are in the local security policy, it's actually really easy to do. We're going to select local policies. We're going to select the audit policies. And specifically, we're going to enable object access, right? We're going to set that to success and failure. I'm going to click apply, click okie dokie, artichoke. Now it's enabled. Now, one of the caveats that I want to kind of let you know is this is not quiet. Like as soon as Explorer opens up the directory with that file and even reads the name of that file, it generates like 16 event logs. Someone opens that file, it generates like another 16 event logs. So it's not like just like one little event log that's like, hey, they tried to open up the secret file. It's not going to be like that. It's literally lots of event logs of everything that's interacting with that file in any possible way. But when you enable object audit or audit object access, you have to enable it on the folder or the file. So what I'm going to do now is we're going to right click on the file and only the one file that we want to monitor. And we're going to go to right click properties. We're going to select security and we're going to go to advanced. Okay. Once we are in advanced, we select auditing. And once again, if I'm going fast, don't worry. It's all in the intro lab step by step. We're going to select continue and we're going to add a principal to this particular file, right? So we're going to go ahead and we're going to add a principal. We're going to select a principal and I'm going to put in everyone. And if you're wondering if that is a valid principal name, you can do check names. And if it underlines it, great. So now it's basically saying everyone. That means anyone that tries to access this file, it's going to trigger this. And I'm going to set it for success and failure, all full control. And that means it's going to generate a lot of event logs in the event that someone actually accesses this particular file. I'm going to click OK. Going to click apply. Going to click OK. Click OK. Now we have audit object or object auditing enabled for this particular file. So now if I were to go into the secret file and simply open up passwords, right? And if I closed it and all of that, there are event logs that are generated in kind of unison with me accessing that file. So I'm going to go to event viewer next, like that. We're going to go to Windows event logs and security. So many event logs. There we go. And you can see these Windows security auditing events. Those are all associated with this particular file or things like event viewer and things of that nature. So if we actually start scrolling down through these, if we go to the file system, you're actually going to see the secret file. I might have to actually go through and click it a couple more times. Oh, there we go. All right. So here you can see that we actually have, it says task category, removable storage, and you're going to see a lot of event logs associated with that secret file. So it says that passwords.txt in the secret directory was accessed by ADHD and they used notepad.exe to actually do it. But like I told you, there's a lot of event logs that are actually generated as soon as somebody accesses that file. I just simply opened that file once, okay? I opened that file once and you can see we've got one event log, 2 event logs, 3 event logs, 4 or 5 event logs, 6, 7, 8 event logs, 9 event logs, 10 event logs. I think that should be pretty close to it that have that specific security alert that's generated for that specific file. Now, what you would do is you would use something like WinLogBeat to get the event logs off of the system, and you would pick one of these particular event log categories or one of these IDs that you would watch for. And in your sim, you would basically write a rule that somebody would have to access this passwords.txt file. And if that's set up, then it would generate an alert. But that's probably a whole nother lab that we've got to do. Probably in the Intro to SOC class, we want to get some more labs set up for that. But the idea is to set up this level of object access auditing on one file, because if I'm not accessing that file, it's not going to generate a lot of event logs. It's really just going to invoke those event logs whenever somebody is accessing that file, and then it's just going to go crazy. So if I'm sitting here refreshing, you can see that we've got 11:30:06, 11:30:06, 11:30:06, 11:30:06. Wait for it, wait for it, wait for it. That's just the time on my virtual machine, 11:30:06. Waiting for it to go to 11:31, and then I'm going to go access that file, and you're going to see just how many event logs would show up. All right, so there we go, 11:31. Let's go into this file again. There we go. Close it out, and now we refresh. So everything at 11:31 is basically all the event logs from that one file, right? So you can see that we have a lot of event logs that are generated by that file. So this is not something that's quiet. right? If you're working on a newer version of Microsoft, if you want to run this on a file server, you can actually do regular expression matching, and you can filter out all of the event logs associated with this, except for the specific one that you are in fact interested in pulling, whether it's a 4658, 4663, 4656, or whatever. Another way that you can do this is you could actually go through. I don't know if I have it configured for Sysmon on this particular computer system, but let's go ahead and check it out. You could actually put in a rule that if somebody accesses that particular file, and you can monitor your Sysmon files as well, but then you're actually monitoring all the file reads. And there you can see right here that Sysmon, you can see that notepad.exe was invoked for passwords.txt. That's a little bit dicey. And the reason why that's dicey is it's possible that the attacker wouldn't use an actual built-in application like Notepad to access passwords.txt. They might just copy it off, and that might be something that Sysmon would miss. But in the situation of what I did with notepad.txt, sure enough, it caught it. So personally, if I had my druthers, I would much rather actually enable that file object access auditing under the security event logs on a Windows computer system, create a filter on the flip side underneath something like if you're using Elastic or Splunk or whatever it is that you're using to actually pull down and look at your event logs. Just makes it a little bit easier to create that filtering and get that centralized auditing of what's going on your computer system. So like I said, we're adding this into the cyber deception class that is coming up here shortly. And let me change my window focus over here. Once again, just to share where you all can pull this down. Let's go. Here we go. Share that. There we go. Now you should be able to see my screen. This is just the step-by-step instructions on basically how you can do this. Everything that I just did, just step-by-step so you can pull it off. Now, we had some questions here as well. But what if the attacker uses the type command? That's absolutely true, right? So if somebody went into that directory with a command prompt and typed type, the object access auditing would detect it, but it's possible that maybe Sysmon wouldn't, right? So that's why I like that as kind of a catch-all. As you can see, it generates a lot of event logs as well. Very simple technique. DEF CON said, yep, that's the idea, right? I think that there's too much going on in computer security right now today where we're trying to make things appear too hard. And I think that whenever things are meant to look too hard, it then falls into the trap that only a vendor can fix it for you. So there's cool things that you can do. So does this work in Linux and Mac OS? Another webcast that I want to do, and it sucks because it's not working, and I'll explain what's going on, is I want to enable Windows, not Windows Subsystem for Linux, but I want to enable Sysmon for Windows Subsystem for Linux. Unfortunately, you cannot install Windows Subsystem for Linux. You can install Sysmon for Linux on WSL because of the initd versus auditd and how that's set up on a Linux system. But I'm hoping I can get that to work. But we'll have a webcast talking about that. And on Mac, there would be nothing like that. You would have to write some custom scripts, which you totally can do as well. Garn said you could create a folder out of the way and fill it with the config and INI and connector files and monitor them. And that's the goal, Garn, right? You want to set up something where you're setting up files and folders in places that normal users would never go. But an attacker who's using automated software like File Finder or Share Finder would be able to find those things. Because understand, as a pen tester, we don't sit down and just manually start going through file shares, right? That's not the way we roll. We have tools that automatically go through everything, looking for specific keywords and names. By the way, simply running that tool that goes through and audits and tries to search all these files would trip this. So this is kind of a signature-based like tripwire that you can establish in your environment. And this crap works, folks. Like, this absolutely works. The use case is set it up on a file share in your environment and set it and forget it, right? You just have a directory with some kind of boring name, but in there you would have another directory nested with the name of secrets or social security numbers. And then you would have an Excel spreadsheet or a Word document or a text file. It doesn't matter. Any one of them would actually work just fine for that as well. Hey, White Cyberduck, could you do me a favor? Could you post into Discord my PGP signature? I kind of want to do a walkthrough on that, just because that's something new that we're going to start doing. And I have some stuff that I'm going to share with some people as well. All right. So as I said, this is for the this is for the this is for the this is for the God, what was I going to say? This is
The
for
class.
my class. Thank you very much. There we go. We got Snarfler as another tool. It can go through and find all these different files. And now let's get to my PGP signature right here. All right. So my PGP signature is this long nightmare. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into CyberChef, like so. Use my words. Thank you, Bronwyn. All right. So we're in CyberChef right now. And this was my PGP signature in the email that was sent out, folks. And I'm going to start doing this with these I'm going to start doing these little tricky things whenever I'm running through and sending out emails to everybody for these different address space layout randomization. It might be something as simple as a PGP message. It might be something where certain characters are weird in there as well. And there's a little challenge in it as well. So this first challenge, one of the things that you'd notice is we have the equals equals at the end. What do you all think that means? Like, it's not always that thing, but the equals equals is kind of a giveaway to something. What is that? What does that usually make you think? For those of you that have done this, right?
Can you make that a little bigger?
64. Yeah, I think I can make it embignified a little bit. There we go. So more than likely we're base 64ing it. So now I'm going to go through and I'm going to select from base 64 as the first part of my chef. And then we have this, folks. What does that look like, everybody? Isn't that weird? We have a series of dots and dashes. What does that look like? Morse code, right? So we can go encoding and decoding, and then we can scroll down and we can do from Morse code, and bam, inside of my signature, you can see that we have https, github.com, strand.js, intro labs, blob master intro class files. It basically gave the path directory. It's all in uppercase, so it doesn't work. You can actually go there manually. And it said, did you get this? The first email me at john@blackhillsinfosec.com gets a prize. And that prize goes to, let me go over here. You see if I can see who the prize is. All right. The prize goes to, here we go. The first person that came back with a response was Ryan Shanahan. So if everyone can let Ryan know, congratulations. What did Ryan win? Ryan actually won a Antisyphon on-demand class of their choosing for free. So let me go ahead and show you that. So if we go to Antisyphon, we go to Antisyphon. We're here. Ryan gets one of these classes of their choosing. We have a couple of classes, by the way, that we just added in that I think are really, really super cool. One of them is the PowerShell class that Canary has just released. And the other thing that is really, really cool is Joff is coming out with a Python class as well. So give Ryan a shout out. Ryan did an amazing job. Thank you very much. And by the way, for those of you that were a little late, I have something special for you too, and I'll be checking your email. I'll be responding with that here in a little bit. So just a fun little thing. Whenever you see those emails, as soon as you get them, open those emails and then just basically jump right in and see if you can find the solution. Joff has a great talk this Thursday. Absolutely. Joff has a presentation coming up on Thursday, and I can't remember what it's about. I think it's actually creating implants on that as well. Also wanted to let everyone know, of course, we got to do a little bit of the advertising thing most of the time when people are watching these things on YouTube. Black Hills Information Security, we do pen testing, we do incident response, we have full SOC services. Please check us out. And if you're looking for training, please check us out at Antisyphon. And you might be thinking to yourself, well, I can't afford training. That's not a problem. we actually have pay what you can training. In fact, I've got a pay what you can getting started in computer security class that is coming up in January 23rd. So please let somebody's like, you guys are an actual company? Absolutely. So my next pay what you can class is kicking up January 23rd through the 26th. So pretty please come hang out. So even if you don't have money, you can come hang out. If you have money, pay for training. That's cool. And if you need a pen test or IR or anything like that, let us know as well there. So Ryan, I think that's all I have right now. Am I missing anything here? I think we're pretty good.
We can ask for the likes, the subscribes, the
Oh crap,
shares,
that's right, folks. If
the
you
usual
if you
dance.
jumped in on this, if you could do us a favor, something magical happens, right? If you click like or subscribe or both on YouTube and subscribe on Twitch, we would greatly appreciate it because as you do that, the Twitters and the Googles and the Twitches are like, these guys don't suck. Let's actually elevate them. And we're always about creating free content, even if we do charge for classes. There's going to be like you're getting like 2 free half-hour sections of sunshine and information security out there. So please do a like and subscribe because it actually helps us out. A little bit of guitar riffing. I don't know. Maybe we'll do that. I can't do it next week, but I do like have this. I found this old guitar that's like awesome. But what it does is it lights up the frets on it. It's called a fretlight guitar, which is really really super cool. So you can actually program in your key and everything.
Gotta
So maybe
gotta program that for a Guitar Hero or something.
yeah, you could program that for Guitar Hero. White Cyberduck knows I'm a sucker, so sing us a song. You're the piano man. There we go. All right, all right, everybody. Thank you so much for showing up. Who do we have tomorrow, Ryan? On this.
Oh, I am forgetting because I have a bad memory on this thing. Tomorrow we've got Greg and John doing Red Team Infrastructure Primer Premiere, something
Ooh,
for Red Team with Greg and John.
red teamy stuff. That's awesome.
Red Teamy stuff.
And then next week, do you guys want me to do Sysmon for Linux next week? I could do Sysmon for Linux. I don't know. Come up with something you want me to do next week. We can do it. So, all right, we can do that.
Yes, please.
Are you all interested in like doing mobile pen testing, mobile app pen testing? Anybody interested in that? Okay.
I see lots of yeses.
Oh, Jeff just pointed out. We in a couple months we
Oh,
have the
thanks,
most
Jeff.
offensive con that ever conferenced offensively or whatever the name is. That is coming up. It's an offensive con. We haven't had so the pendulum goes back and forth, and Jeff can talk about this too. But the pendulum goes back and forth between offense and defensive people, right? Blue team and red team, blue team and red team, and it's been stuck on the blue team for a long, long, long time. And what we want to do is let's get a little bit dirty. Sorry, Christina Aguilera. Anyone? Let's go ahead and let's get dirty and let's start doing some offensive stuff. We have a call for paper out. It's the Anti-siphon hack down, the most offensive con that ever offensive, and it's coming up March 1st of this year. So we want to get into some offensive stuff because it's the pendulum's been stuck on blue for a couple of years. Let's bring it on back to the red. Let's get back to being offensive. All right. Ryan, take us out, sir. Thank you so much, everybody, for showing up. And I will see you, if not tomorrow, which is highly unlikely because I'm on airplanes. I will definitely see you next week for the news and address space layout randomization. So, Ryan, take us out,
All
sir.
right. Thanks, everybody. Bye.